Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Jason and Jaime. Jaime, did you check out the game?
Of course.
Halftime show or the game better?
I'm not a huge football fan, I'm going to be honest. It was a great game.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
I mean, people are let down. We'll talk about it in a minute, but by the last sort of 2 minutes and the penalty and everything. But so what? It was a great game.
It was a great game to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is TMZ.
Yes.
So we're going to start with the halftime show.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So Rihanna, a couple things. Number one, she's pregnant. Congratulations to Rihanna.
Congratulations.
Yeah. What did you make of the performance?
I think, thank God she was pregnant because she did nothing. She brought nothing. So now, I mean, and then it was so vague that I wasn't sure if she was pregnant. She just had a baby in May. I'm not uncommon to just, have another, but you don't even talk about a woman's body for at least a year. So
Right.
I just was unsure if she really was pregnant or not. So that was distracting. She really didn't do as much as a pirouette. There was.
So I agree. I was kind of hoping you and I would debate on that. We've come to expect so much from halftime shows, from outfit changes to surprise guests to pyrotechnics to crazy things. Some of that was ruled out by the fact that she was pregnant, but we're not judging on a pregnancy scale. We're judging it on a performance, and there just wasn't that much there. She sang her standards, and she's brilliant. Her songs are fantastic. She's one of the great singers of the century, the whole thing. But there wasn't much there.
No, I wouldn't. I would have loved to see some dancing.
Yeah, well, maybe she.
But I can't imagine if a doctor is saying you are not fit to dance, then you probably shouldn't be on a 60-foot in the air platform.
Yeah,
right?
she had a lot of people that had been blown up by some sort of apparatus, inflated. Beforehand.
Yeah,
but which was weird, but good.
Yeah.
That's what the Super Bowl is. Weird people dancing around. I just given that she either was limited or doesn't like to perform. She hasn't performed, she doesn't really perform as much anymore. She's matured a lot. She's got hundreds of millions. She doesn't need to do it anymore. She doesn't need to shake her tail feathers for our enjoyment anymore. And good for her.
And that was really the vibe I got.
Yeah.
There was never a moment that I was like, oh, is she too weak? Is she not in that? She didn't have to.
Right.
She showed up, she smiled, she looked sexy at the camera, and it was like, make no mistake, I was totally in on this performance. I loved it, but let's call a spade that there was not much happening.
There was not much happening there. She's
there
so
were no guest
she's
stars.
so magnetic that you sort of just fall into her a little bit.
Oh, and don't forget the product placement of the Fenty Beauty nose touch-up.
But she I was little. So the funniest thing is we talked on Friday about the various prop bets that are there for the Super Bowl. You can bet anything: how long the national anthem is going to be, how long the halftime show is going to be. Obviously, you can bet anything about the game, who's the first touchdown, etc. One of the prop bets was, will Rihanna show cleavage? And we kind of laughed in the meeting because, of course, she's going to show cleavage at some point. She's going to have multiple outfit changes. One of them will show cleavage. And in order to, according to the betting sites, in order to win on that bet, you had to bet like $100 to win 10 if you bet she was going to show cleavage.
Yeah.
If you bet she wasn't going to show cleavage, you could bet 10 and win like 80.
Yeah.
So she no cleavage. One outfit, that red thing with the plastic boobs.
Sure. It was a lovely 70 degrees in Glendale, Arizona, too, and she had the huge coat. So.
She's from Barbados. So
I guess. I guess that's it. I'm wondering, did you do any bets?
No.
I'm wondering if there were any bets of her being pregnant.
Oh, interesting.
Because
I never saw that
would
as a
be
prop.
a payday.
Boy,
because I would have said no way.
Talk about a way to get canceled. Talk about what a woman's body's going to look like.
Well, why is it any better than if her ass cheek is going to show?
Fair enough. I also did not. That was
not
an
ass in sight.
Not an ass in sight. Even the inflatable people.
No, you know what's so funny? A lot of them, I was like, "Damn, that girl's got a great body," and then they'd zoom up and they'd have a mustache. You couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl. It didn't matter. They all looked banging, and
Oh, you're so get off my lawn. Oh, who cares? Gender is fluid.
I don't care.
So that was thing one. Thing two, there were other musical performances. Babyface started it off. He's brilliant, great. And then Chris Stapleton gave what I thought was a really weird rendition of the national anthem. I got it. He's country, and country's
you and my
cool.
husband both. He was like, I must be old because I don't
sing
get
the
it.
goddamn song.
Yeah.
I remember James Earl Jones. I think it was at the World Series, maybe the Major League All-Star game, like 25 years ago. Did a spoken word interpretation of the national anthem. It was so awful. And I felt the same with Chris Stapleton. Like, we're not here when it comes to the national anthem. Like, this halftime show is all about the performer. The national anthem is about sing the national anthem for us so that we can listen to it, pay homage to our country.
You've gone full Clint Eastwood in the past 3 minutes. You've got full Clint Eastwood. This is America's song.
No, I don't care about that. I just want to get past it.
I do get. I completely get what you're saying. Yeah, it was odd, but everyone loved it.
Oh yeah, look, he's really good, and I'm not a country guy, but that's irrelevant. I recognize the brilliance of some country music. I just thought it was like he kind of made it about him. Like the greatest ever is Whitney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she just sang the song as it is, but she just did it better than anyone ever had, or whatever, And so that made it. That's why it was such a brilliant thing. This was about him. He kind of retooled it, gave a little twang, a little.
Do you think if he didn't have a guitar, you would have? Felt like
the guitar wasn't. It wasn't an issue. I don't mind that. Anyway, I was listening to him like, goodness, Chris Stapleton, you really like. This is a song that you sing. You get off stage and the game is played. Not that you make a big deal. It took it was so long because he held everything out in that very country way. I don't know. I think he's great. Obviously, he's a huge country star and a great singer and the whole thing. But I just thought, get to it.
And then Sheryl Lee Ralph.
Yeah.
I didn't know she sang.
Who knew?
I don't know. What a year for her. Damn.
This real coming out party. She reached a level of fame that she never had before. It's been pretty impressive.
Those are the people I love. That she is not an overnight success. She has been in this game for decades.
I want to go back to Rihanna for a second. So I came out of the halftime show, and I was really into the game, watching it with friends, and the game was great. The first half was great, and Philadelphia looked like they were going to roll. Watched the halftime show, and I sort of had the impression, I actually wrote to a couple people, I'm not sure how that stacks up against other halftime shows. Just don't think it's as good, despite her genius. But then my opinion was ruined by the fact that I shared it with Donald Trump.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So he said on Truth Social, epic fail. Rihanna gave without question the single worst halftime show in Super Bowl history. And then he goes on to say this after insulting her country by saying
it was an interesting song to open with.
Yes,
bitch better have my money.
Right. But they haven't falling out because I think in 2020 or 2021
falling out. They don't have sleepovers anymore.
No, they don't. No sleepovers. But she had written "fuck Trump" on a wall and a graffiti kind of thing, and took a picture with it and the whole thing. So he doesn't like her. He doesn't like anybody who doesn't like him. And so and then so he comes out and says the worst halftime show in Super Bowl history. Her career, which is this after insulting far more than half of our nation. Well, insulting him means to him that means more than half the nation because he got more than half the votes in his mind, which is already in serious decline with her foul and insulting language. Also, so much for her quote unquote stylist.
Okay, it was all good, and then that last line, it was like, okay, no,
what he means.
No.
I don't know.
No. Well, I don't know what he's surprised that a black immigrant maybe doesn't love Donald Trump. What did he think?
Yeah, remember he called people from countries like hers shithole countries, and even he should actually take it as a badge of honor that she doesn't like him.
Yeah,
right.
He's doing it. He's doing the job right.
He's America first. Right, by his own admission, he's America first. He doesn't want immigrants from those shithole countries coming to America. She's an immigrant from one of those shithole countries who comes to America. She now lives in the Los Angeles area. Right, he should take it as damn right she doesn't like me, nor should she.
Yeah.
I don't want her kind around here. That would be his take, right?
But she's a hot woman.
Oh,
and that hurts. No, that's for real though. That hurts him so
because
hard.
It's actually true. Not to make light of it, but his wife is a hot woman from one of those shithole countries too. Although it's a white shithole country, so he probably gives that a little bit more leniency.
Fair,
I would think. Anyway, it's tough when my opinions align with Donald Trump's on something.
I know.
Just the not a great performance. Over half of it.
Honestly, I love her so much, and I almost love now that I've slept on it. I almost love her more just to know your own value. That I can phone this in, and everyone's gonna say it's fucking genius.
Yes.
And that is not a lot of people have that status.
Yeah. People who were not happy at the end of the night, forgetting about Rihanna, were Eagles fans.
Mm-hmm.
They, in the way that only Philadelphians can do, they took to the streets. They were,
let's destroy our city.
Let's destroy our city. They were chanting all sorts of obscenities about Kansas City. You don't have to like the Chiefs. They're the big bad bully on the block these days, and everybody should hate the big bad bully on the block and root against him and the whole thing. And when your team gets beat by them, although they famously beat the biggest, baddest bully, Tom Brady, 6 years ago, but they took to the streets. They were saying F Kansas City, F the Chiefs, but F Kansas City. Kansas City is like the sweetest country city in the country. It's like
in the Sunflower State.
It's in Sunflower State. It's a really nice place. It's actually a tech hub. I spent an ungodly amount of time in Kansas City.
Really?
Yeah. My law firm, I was assigned to a case out in Kansas City. I spent months and months there as a young lawyer. Really lovely city, great food as far as the eye can see, and like one of these cities that was once sort of big and then became small and is now growing and modernizing and gentrifying, and it's a really lovely place.
You ever see a tornado?
No, never seen one. You?
Bummer. No, but I didn't spend time in Kansas City.
Yeah. I'm sort of glad I didn't see a tornado.
Yeah.
Because, they hurt people.
Apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, so they did what Philadelphians do. Did you, just because the biggest topic of the year so far, the holding call that was called, did you watch that end of the game there where the holding call was called?
No, I was a little busy, but
sorry.
Yeah,
it's right.
I was also just looking at my Super Bowl squares trying to see who I hated and if it was
Right.
okay if they won.
Yeah, the game was sort of decided, not really, but it was kind of decided. At least the ending was all drama was taken out by a controversial call by the referees on the Philadelphia Eagles defensive back, kind of a ticky-tack holding call. And the discussion is, nobody's saying it really wasn't holding, but it was a light holding, and it decided the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a referee, do you understand the moment and stay out of the way, or do you call the game as you would always call it, regular season or not? And it's like the dividing line. Like, you don't want a referee to determine the most important game of the season, but you also want the referees to call them as they see them and not change for the playoffs. Like, it's just it's this philosophical difference coming out.
So do you feel like they were robbed?
No, I think I like referees calling it the way they see it, and there's nothing more frustrating when you're on the point of view of the team that gets that where the penalty should be called, and they're like, well, important time. You're like, what conceivable difference does that make?
Yeah.
Like, isn't it all important? Do you call it differently? But at the same time, I like it when referees get out of the way and let players play. So I probably wouldn't have called it, but it did. What would have happened is, with 1 minute and 44 seconds left in the game, the Chiefs would have gone up 3 points, and then the Eagles would have had, and their supernatural quarterback, Jalen Hurts, would have had 1 minute 44 to come down and try and tie the game with a field goal, and it just would have been. And it was an epic game. It was so good. 2 quarterbacks playing at the highest possible level. 2 teams insanely well coached. And the last 2 minutes became, after the penalty with 1 minute 44, became a foregone conclusion, and so there's no real drama down the stretch.
Are we going to have to hear for a year that the game was stolen?
No, I don't think people care that much. I mean, they don't hold on to that. There are some really bad calls that happen in Super Bowls year after year, and you move on.
Yeah.
Even though, if your team lost, like, the Eagles fans are still going to be.
Well,
upset
I'm thinking because we have one of our executive producers he flew home to be with his family in Philly to watch this game,
right.
And I don't know if I have the energy for a year of whining.
There's a video that's gone viral this morning. I just saw Snoop, who's the best follow on Instagram. If you follow Snoop,
no,
he's the number 1 follower.
Okay,
on Instagram.
done.
He's the best, funniest follow on Instagram. He posted this video. It's gone viral of this guy. It might be, a lot of people are saying it's fake, but it's well done. Who wagered a huge amount of money on Philly, and as soon as the Chiefs kicker kicks a field goal to win the game, with both hands he just smashes his television.
I think I did see this.
It's really good.
I was about to do that. Did you fall for the Tubi commercial?
Wait, I saw that. I saw the Tubi commercial. What was to fall for?
So it was like in the middle of a normal commercial, it seems like, and then I thought one of my kids had the remote, and I tell you, I almost ripped my 5-year-old in half, and apparently it got a lot of people. So that was the thing this morning of whether or not you fell for the Tubi commercial.
Were there any commercials you recall?
I have never remembered so many religious commercials shoved down my throat.
Where are the Jesus people getting this kind of cash?
I don't.
These were up to $7 million for 30-second spots.
Yes, and then it was so interesting that they'd be showing like these horrible scenes of people fighting, and it was like talking about the good guys, the bad guys, and I'm like, well, which side are they on? Because I don't know which.
I actually thought the kind of effect. I mean, there's this belief that the world, and it has been for not just 2,000 years, forever, that the world is just disintegrating around us. And they're like, I can get playing on those fears a little bit.
Scientology, they do that every year. Scientology had quite a few as well, and they got me. I was like,
The premature electrification commercial, did you see this?
Mm-mm.
So this was Dodge Ram, I think, promoting its electric truck.
Oh, yes.
And it was that was my favorite commercial by far, because it starts out with a guy looking to camera, very somber, saying, "Do you suffer from premature electrification?"
Yes.
And then everything is a metaphor for premature ejaculation. Like, does it start too quickly? Does it end too slowly? You know,
Yes.
all this stuff. And but it's all about an electric vehicle.
Well, it's the Dodge Ram crowd, I would imagine.
Are you afraid when you get started you're not going to be able to go the distance? Do you suffer from premature electrification?
Of course you loved that one.
It was so funny. I know. I'm a man of a certain age. These things are top
He's
of
like,
mind.
I do. Check.
Yeah, exactly. Not exactly. I mean, I'm trying to bring some
exactly.
humor.
Edit that out,
to,
Wild. He said exactly.
Yeah. What do I care?
I don't know.
I electrified.
Sure. Sure.
All right. Thanks very much for this very special Super Bowl edition. Jaime, it's always fun. All right.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.
Bye.